If you're looking to create a profitable side hustle today, you're in the right place. Most people jump from idea to try and make money online. This free workshop covers absolutely everything you need to know about creating a profitable e-commerce store. Creating an e-commerce store has always been the easiest way to build an income generating asset online. If you simply follow the steps in this workshop, in 2 hours time, you can have an income generating asset you can grow for years to come. So don't bookmark for later and go back down the rabbit hole looking for 100 different ways to make money online or to start a side hustle or build a business. This is exactly what you're looking for, and it's time to take action. You're gonna start by building your store, and then you're gonna have the option to add either digital or physical products. So if you ever wanna sell your own courses, ebooks, templates, anything like that, you're gonna learn how to do it. And if you just wanna set up a dropshipping store and import products from third-party suppliers to get selling straight away, we cover that too. So even if you don't know what niche you want to be in, how you want to brand your store, or you have no idea what you want to sell, by going through this workshop, you're going to find some great products that you'll be able to add to your store. Just some of the things you're going to cover. You're going to learn how to build an online store from start to finish, and there is no coding at all involved. We're going to be using Shopify to do this. And even if you decided you didn't want to have an e-commerce store, you wanted to have, say, an agency or something like that, or a blog or a newsletter, you're going to be able to use the skills you learn in this workshop to do all of that. You're also going to learn how to instantly import winning products from third-party suppliers and get them live and ready to sell. You're also going to learn how to create digital products, but also create the product images for this. And then we're going to look at adding upsells and learn how to optimize product pages. And importantly, we're going to look at adding a newsletter and a blog to the website so you can build a brand for the long term. Basically, by the end of this, you're going to have everything you need to build a successful e-commerce store in any niche you want. If you get stuck along the way or something's changed or something's not clear, just leave a comment below the video and I'll be happy to help. I'm giving away this workshop for free to help people get started with an online business without having to pay some TikToker for an overpriced course. The only thing I'll ask, if you're going to go through this workshop and build your store, sign up through the Shopify link in the description below. If your store is a success and you stay on with it, I'll get a commission because you signed up through the Shopify link. The link will have the best current sign-up offer available and I'll keep it up to date. It won't impact you in any way, but it means I can keep courses like this completely free and I can give support in the comments. Let's jump straight into it. So as soon as you're signed up and logged in, the first thing you're going to see is this dashboard here. Now what we want to do is we want to go down to the theme selector. So we're going to install a theme. So if you click on online store on the left hand side, you're going to see a selection. So here we can see they've currently pre-selected a theme called Dawn, but if you scroll down a little further, it gives us the option to add our own theme if we want. So if we buy a third-party one, we can upload it here. We can also choose from up to, I think it's like around 12 free themes as well. So you can have a look at those yourself and see which one you might want to start off with. And if you wanted to view more of them, you just go to Visit Theme Store. So we can click on that here. Then let's just select our account. Okay, now here on the left-hand side, you can click on free, and then you can scroll through all of the free themes that they offer. And they have paid ones as well, but I wouldn't suggest going for a paid theme until you've already made some sales. They have a few features that'll make your life a little bit easier. You might be able to make your website look a little bit better, but until you make sales, you'll definitely get by with the free themes that are available. So let's just jump back over here to our dashboard. For now, I'm going to leave it on the default theme, which is Dawn, and we're going to start customizing that in a little bit. But before we do that, I'll just show you quickly what it looks like. So you can see it's very basic here. There's not a lot going on. There's no products added or anything like that yet. We're going to start fleshing this out in the next videos. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is adding some products to our website. We can either add some physical products or we can add some digital products like courses and services. You can also sell audiobooks, ebooks, checklists, and things like Notion templates. Anything you can really think of, you can sell here. So we're going to do that first. We're going to look at adding a digital product to the site. So to begin with that, we want to come down to apps on the left-hand side. And here we want to click on app and sales channel settings. Now, while we're in here, actually, before we move on to the next step, you have two options here. You're selling through the online store. These are your sales channels. So it's the online store or point of sale. If you're not selling anything in the real world and you're just going to have an online store, as in, you don't have like a pop-up stand or you're selling physical products in the real world, then you can actually remove point of sale. So in this example, we're actually not going to use it because, as I said, we're selling either digital products or physical products online, not in real life. So we just click on uninstall. So let's keep going here. So to start adding digital products, we want to select Shopify App Store. Now in the search bar up here, we just want to search for digital products, or digital downloads is actually pretty better. Okay, so we can see the first result here. It only has 2.9 stars, but we're going to go with that over the others. You can go through the other ones yourself and see which one's better, but digital downloads is actually, this is the Shopify one. They make this app themselves. So we'll just stick with the default for now. So here we just want to click on Add App. Then next we just need to click Install App. Okay, so next we're going to look at creating our first digital product. Okay, so now we're going to start building our first digital product. So to do that, we can either click Add New Product here, or we can go up to the top left here and click on products. So we're going to do that. Now, once that opens up, we just want to click on add your products. So obviously you can sell absolutely any digital product you want. In this example, we're going to just say start with a course. So if you're, say, a yoga instructor or something like that, and you want to have a course around that, you would just enter something like yoga instructor training, whatever the course is about. The description, we will come back into this later on when we're editing our product page, but for now you can just put in some sort of placeholder. This is going to show up obviously on the product page. It's going to be the description, but we're going to add some tabs to the product page as well. So things like, you know, maybe refunds and stuff like that, or, you know, this won't have any shipping, but for if you have physical products for shipping, they'll all be done in the tabs, so you won't need to enter those in the description. So for now, we'll just add some placeholder text. So let's just put something in here. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is come down to media. We're going to add a product image in a minute. I'm going to show you how to make a good product image for your digital products. But before we do that, we're going to go through the rest of this. So pricing here, so we enter the price. So we have, say it's $149, whatever it is. Now, if you decide to run a refund, not a refund, if you decide to run a discount in the future, what you can do is you can actually, if you wanted to sell it for $149, say it was originally $300, you would come here and you say $300, or let's say $299. And when we're on the product page, you'll see that it reduces it from $299 to $149, just to let the customer know that that was the full price. Originally, when you're first starting your store, you won't be doing this because you're not going to be refunding, you're not going to be reducing the price from day one. But just to show you how it works, I'm going to leave these two in. Now, the next thing is cost per item. We're going to leave this as 0 because if it's a digital product, in most cases, it's not going to have any cost attached to it. Now, the thing about this is this won't show up to the front on the front end either way to anybody buying. This is just internally, and it helps us calculate our profit margins if it does cost us per item. Now, the next thing we want to come down to is track quantity. Now, if you're running a workshop, for example, so if somebody buys your workshop and then you get an email that they purchased it, you go in and you send them a manual email to let them know where and when the workshop is on. If that is the case and there's limited spots, you can actually keep track quantity on here, and you can say like 20 spots, for example. But if you're selling a digital course, you're not going to need that because there is no quantity to it. You can sell 1 million of them if you wanted to. So we're going to leave this off because this is a course in this example. And the next thing we're going to look at here is under shipping for physical product, we need to select digital product or service. Now, the final thing we're going to look at here is the search engine listing. So this is how it shows up in Google if anyone searches for your brand or the product. So all you need to do here is click edit, and you want to give it a catchy name, obviously something that people will click on if they come across. And if people are Googling your brand, you want to make sure that it represents you well. And if you are trying to rank this product page on Google, you will want to make sure that you have your keywords in there as well, in your page title, definitely, and maybe in your meta description if you can, and definitely in your URL handle here as well. Now, this says myshopify.com/products. We can't change that. Don't worry about this myshopify.com part. We will be adding a domain to our own branded domain later on, so you don't need to worry about that. This is the only part here you can edit, which is the name of the product. So next, you just need to click on save. Okay, so once that's done, there's a couple of things we're going to be looking at adding here in the later video, so don't worry about them for now. And that's just going to be adding it to a collection. And the second thing is going to be to create our image, our product image for our digital products. So we're going to be doing that in the next videos. But before we do that, I just want to show you how to make this product live. So once we have all of our information in here, obviously you'll have your description in. This is when it's all kind of done. You want to come over here to apps on the left-hand side, and you want to select digital downloads. Next, we just need to click on our product. And in here, we just need to add our files. So if it's a video course, you could have some zip files or whatever it is. You know, if it's a PDF or a workbook or something like that, you can also just drag it in here. If it's a template, so let's just drag something in now. Okay, so once we upload something, we can see it's given us the total file size, which is, this is a tiny file because it's only an image. So if it's a template or something, it will upload very quickly, but you can upload up to 5 gigabytes, 5 gigabytes. So if you have a course, you can zip it up and you can drag it in here as well. So once you have your image dragged in, you want to go up to fulfillment. So here you have a couple of options you can look at. One is automatically send files. That means if someone orders it, obviously they get it straight away in their email, or you can decide to manually do that. It depends on what type of product and what type of delivery you want to go in. And the other one is whether to give them unlimited downloads or not. So there's a chance maybe this is like a yearly subscription to something, and a yearly access to something. If you're doing that, then obviously you don't want unlimited downloads. But in most cases for courses and ebooks and templates and all that sort of stuff, you will want to keep it as unlimited downloads. And then down here, we just need to click accept. Okay, so next we just need to click on save. And then another fairly useful feature here is when you go into more actions, you can create a download link. So if I click on that, similar to things like Dropbox, you can actually just copy this link here that they give you, and it will then let you link out, and then someone can download that file manually. So for example, if you're a new store sending out templates and stuff like that, and you've got a lot of orders, some will go to people's spam folders, and a common complaint might be that they can't find the file. So then you could have, a VA, or you reply to them yourself and just send the manual link as soon as you can confirm that they actually made an order. So it is a very useful feature to have. Okay, so once we have that saved, we're going to jump back over to products here, and the next thing we're going to do, let's just click on this. We're going to create a product image. Okay, so now we're going to look at designing an image for our products. Now, I'm not going to go through and spend all the time making the perfect image because that's going to be very boring for you. It's also going to be a waste of time. I'm going to just show you the mechanics of how it works, and I'll make a quick mock-up of something here. So you're going to need two websites. The first you're going to need is Canva, which you can use the free version, obviously, or you're probably, a lot of people pay for this anyway, but you don't need to. Even if you just have the free version, this will work just fine. And beyond Canva, the next one we want to use is smartmockups.com. And again, there's other alternatives to this that are paid versions, and they're probably a little bit better, to be honest. But when you're starting off, you don't need them. This will have a few mockups that you can play around with. You'll be able to get your website together, hopefully make a few sales. And once you start selling, then you can start upgrading to some paid plans. And the thing about it is, you only need to use the website a handful of times when you're building it. So like, for example, if I sign up to smartmockups.com because I want one of their better templates, or I sign up to placeit.net, which is the alternative, it's like €10 a month. If I sign up there for 1 month, I just make all of my product images, and then I just downgrade until I need them again in the future. But for now, don't worry about it. We can just use the free versions. So to begin with this, what you want to do is you want to go to technology down here. You can go through these yourself and play around with them. Depending on what you're selling, obviously, it's going to be a little different. It's a course here. So what we want to do is click on e-learning bundles. And in here, we can see we got 2 designs that are free. They got a lot more designs down here as well. And as I said, if you go through them, there's going to be a lot of other really good options, but we're going to stick with the cheap and fast ones for now. So we're going to click on one of these free ones here. I'm going to go with this one. Now we can see here on the right-hand side, it tells us that the CD is 1000 times 1000 pixels. The book cover is 1000 times 1600, and the MacBook Pro is 2560 and 1600. So we need to create images of those dimensions on Canva. So here we're going to start with the book cover. And the reason we're going to do that is because in a lot of cases, you can actually just use the book cover as the CD as well. It just crops it in a different way, as you can kind of see here. So we're just going to do that for now to keep it easy. You can make individual ones yourself if you want, but we're going to go with book cover. So it's 1000 times 1600. So let's jump over to Canva. Here we just want to click on create a design. We want to go down to custom size and just type in our dimensions and hit create new design. Now we just search for some terms in our niche, so let's just search for yoga. So let's just have a little look here and see what you have. I'm not going to get too into this, as I said. I'm just going to pull whatever. You obviously spend a lot more time on this sort of stuff yourself for your own products. So let's just see. Okay, so let's just say pull this one here, for example. And now what I'll do is I'll just change the wording. So we'll go yoga, and then here, instead of the name, we'll just have yoga instructor training. Obviously, for your own designs, you're going to spend a lot longer on this. But for now, we're just going to download this one. We hit share, download, and download. Okay, now let's just jump back over to Smart Mockups, and then we want to go book cover and upload from. Then we can drag that image in. Or an alternative here is you can actually just click on the image if it's still in your bar. Obviously, you can just upload it manually if you want, or you can just drag it in like this as well. Okay, now I'm going to have a quick look and see what this looks like on the CD. As I mentioned, sometimes it actually just looks fine. It actually looks terrible, so let's undo that. Go back over and we'll make them for the CD. So that's CD, I think is, what size was it? It was 1000 times 1000. So what I will do is something like this, resize. 1000 times 1000, copy and resize. Now here we can remove the person. We can maybe just make this a lot bigger. This might look okay. Just to get something kind of presentable. Let me see. Okay, let's just jump back over here and we'll just drag that in and let's have a little look and see what it looks like. So next we're going to tackle the MacBook Pro, which is 2560 and 1600. So let's just jump back over. We're going to go File. We're going to go Create New Design. custom size, 2560, 1600, and hit create new design. Okay, in here we're going to just type in yoga, and then let's just pick any of them. Obviously you're going to spend a lot longer on these yourself when you're working on your own designs. I'm just showing you the mechanics of how it's done. So let me just see here where we are. Let's just change this up a little bit. Full course, yoga instructions, something like that. Okay, for now, something like that will be absolutely fine. So let's just download this. The best thing for this type of design where you're showing a screen is obviously to have some sort of, real picture of what they're going to get, what the actual course looks like. So if you finish your course or whatever it is you're selling, if you're selling templates, you could have a template there, a Notion template, and you can have some of it blurred out maybe to create a bit of intrigue. You're just showing them what the product is at the back end. But this will do for now. So let's just jump back over here to Smart Mockups and we'll just drag this in. Okay, so it's looking absolutely fine. So next what we want to do is click on download. And then we can see it's given us one option, which is the medium quality, which is fine for now. If you want to upgrade to the trial or you want to pay for this offer, obviously by all means go ahead and do that and get the high quality ones. You can also do it on Placeit as well. You get a few different options. Maybe you don't want the CD in here. You can do that as well. But for now, we're just going to download this one. So let's click on medium. Okay, now that has fully downloaded. Let's just jump back over to our website. Now, one thing I will say is I'm going to just drag this in here in a second. But before you drag your files in or upload them to the website, there's two things you always want to do. You want to make sure that they're compressed enough that the file size is not too large. So if it is too large, you can go to a website called compressedjpeg.com or compressedpng.com, and they will help you make them a little bit smaller without losing too much quality. And we do this so your website loads fast and your product pages load fast. So you want to make sure the files are small enough. So the next thing you want to look at is the name of the file. If you're looking to rank for SEO for a certain search term, it can be helpful to name your images whatever the term is. So with that information, go ahead and do that for your own images when you're uploading them. Whenever you're uploading images, do it all the time. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and drag this in here. Okay, so we can see there's a lot of white space around this, so we're going to fix that now. We want to jump back over to Canva here, and we want to create an image that's 2048 times 2048, because that's the recommended product image size on Shopify. So what we're going to do is 2048, 2048, and click Create New Design. And once this loads up, we want to just drag our image in. Okay, now once that's been dragged in, we just want to resize it however we can. Obviously, because the dimensions of this image, we're not going to get it to cover the whole screen. It's not a square, so we just get as much in as we can. Now, this is where it can be beneficial to have some of those other templates over here, some of those other designs that are not as wide as this. Maybe you just want the book on its own, and then that would fit perfectly into the square, it would fit perfectly in here. And you could also remove the background if you wanted to get fancy with it. We're not going to get into that for now, but if you did want to do it, you could upgrade to the pro versions of that software that we were looking at. But for now, this seems like it'll be okay. So what we want to do is let me just make it a little bit bigger. And then next, we just want to download it. Now let's jump back over here to Shopify, and we just want to, first of all, delete this image. So click on it, click delete file, and now we want to drag our new one in. Again, don't forget, rename it, make sure it's not too big, the file size isn't too large. So once we have our image imported and it's all been saved, all we need to do then is click on preview to have a little look and see how it's doing. Okay, so now we can see the product image in itself is looking okay. And as I mentioned, this is the price point. I told you already that. Let me just jump back over here. When you scroll down, if you set compare at 299, and then the current price is this, it will do that. It will basically tell them that there's been a discount applied. I just wanted to show you how to use that. When you're starting, you're not really going to need it, but just for future reference, it's good to know if you want to run some sort of promotion. And you can see the descriptions go down here, and we're going to add a lot more stuff to this page later on. So next, we're going to look at the option of adding some physical products to our store. Now, if you're running, say in this example, it's going to be the yoga brand, and you wanted to start selling some physical products alongside it, what you could actually do is you could find a supplier on somewhere like AliExpress and say for yoga mats. And what you would do is you would then reach out to them and you would ask them would they white label it, which basically means they'll supply the yoga mats and they will design them and brand them however you want. So if you've got your own logo or something like that, or your own, something to do with your own branding, you can actually get it put onto either, whether it's leggings, whether it's yoga mats, whether it's yoga blocks, whatever it is, you can get them branded. So you can start selling your own physical products under your own brand this way. It's a very clever way to get started. And then obviously, as you grow and if people start buying your products, then you can start looking for different suppliers, maybe local suppliers, whatever it is. But this is just the easiest way of starting. Now, what I'm going to show you here also applies to if you did just want to make a dropshipping store that had nothing to do with your own brand. You can also, this is the method that people use for that in itself. But the difference is we will be customizing and white labeling the products from the factories. So to begin with this, what you want to do is go over to apps on the left-hand side, and you want to click on recommended apps. Now let's just scroll down to the bottom here and we click Shopify App Store. In here, we just want to search for Deezers, DSERS, and hit enter. Actually, we can click this one here if it shows up. Okay, here we just need to click on add app. And next you want to click install app. Here, we're going to let them create an account for us. It's probably the easiest thing to do. Or you can do register yourself if you want, but I just click on create an account for you. And here, because I already have an account, it's just telling me to log in. So if you don't, it will just offer you to sign up. So do whatever one that pops up for you. It's probably going to be sign up. Okay, once you're signed in, it's going to give you the option to connect an AliExpress account. So you're going to need to create one of those as well. So let's just click on AliExpress once you have the account set up. So now we're going to start looking at some products, and we're going to use the niche, the yoga niche, similar to the example that we had, so yoga and meditation and that sort of stuff. Now, if you're building a personal brand yourself around your own products and your own courses, you don't want to be drop shipping random stuff, obviously. But what you can do is you can find some products that people might be using and you can white label them. So in yoga, people use yoga bags and yoga blocks. They're very basic standard items. They can be made in any factory in the world. So it doesn't matter if they're off AliExpress. What matters is that you've got your own brand on them and that they're good quality. So they're kind of the products that you can look into putting into a brand like that. But you can also, if you wanted to just build some e-commerce stores and white label some other products as well, you could do that. Even if you're not in the yoga niche or the meditation niche, you can find some unique products and you could build a brand around them and you could get them branded, and you can ask the factories to make some tweaks and edits to them as well. So basically, to begin with this, we're going to come over to find suppliers on the left-hand side, and we'll just type in something like yoga and hit enter. Okay, now we can see here it's giving us lots of yoga pants, which isn't surprising. They're a big seller. It's a very competitive market. It's giving us some tops, yoga tops. So what we're looking for here is the star ratings. This is 4.8 and there's 4,500 orders from, this might be from Deezers. I'm not sure whether it's from AliExpress in general. Either way, it's giving us some options here, some ideas. Here's some headbands as well we could look at selling. Now, as I said, if you're in this niche, if you're not in this niche, you could still build a store around this. You just white label them yourself. Let's just open one or two of them up here. We'll open these headbands and we'll open this gym set here and these gym tops as well. Okay, they got sweatbands as well. Let's just open those up. Okay, let's have a little look, see what we have here. So these are headbands. Now what we're looking for is basically that this is 97.2% for this store. It's been going since 2012. So they're obviously a good factory to work with. And then what I would do in this case is, well, one thing you can actually do is go down to the reviews as well to see if there's any, you see you got a lot of product images here you could use until the store is off the ground. Get them sent to your house, or you could then take your own pictures or send them to someone who does user-generated content on Instagram, get them to make pictures, and you're going to have your brand across the front of it, So let's just see. We come down here to reviews and we can see the quality is good, the hair holds, didn't use it yet but looks good, and you can see the product images so you know what you're getting. Obviously a very simple basic item, but you could have this as an upsell on your website, and people like buying stuff when they buy into a brand. So with a factory like this that has a high rating, it's got a lot of reviews for this product and it's sold a lot of them, what I would do is I would get in and I would send them a message. And I would basically say to them, they're used to people doing this. Just say, I want to get my logo added to these headbands. Is that possible? How much would it cost? And in a lot of cases, it can be like, they might say something like $50 for us to print the logo first time. And then for every item purchased, it will cost you an extra $1 on top of the purchase to get it printed onto the headband. So then that's kind of a standard enough deal that a lot of factories will do. So once you email them and if they said, yes, we're willing to white label this and send them to you, the next thing you want to do is go down to shipping, make sure they ship to the United States, and then you include the shipping into the price of the headband. So that's $1, $2. It's going to cost you about $3, maybe $4, including fees, to get to someone's house. It's going to take about 2 weeks, but if you're a small brand, people from experience, they don't mind waiting, especially if it's an item that they can't get anywhere else. And the most important thing is in the shipping terms before they purchase, you'll set expectations and say, this can take up to 2 weeks to deliver, and it really doesn't deter most people. So once you find a good supplier like this, what you want to do is go back over here, and where was the product? Let's scroll up. It was this one here. So we just need to click on add to import list. Okay, now we can just close that down. And now you want to go through a few of the other products. So we can see these are full sets here. There's different colors. They got different sizes. This is great. Now, if you're importing clothing to your store, you want to make sure you take this as well, this size guide, centimeters and inches, whatever you're using, and you put this in the product description on Shopify. So if you are selling clothes, take those images and do that with them so people know exactly what they're getting. It really cuts down on the returns. So again, you check things like 95.9% positive feedback. They've been going since 2 years ago, which is fine generally because they do have a lot of sales and they've got really high reviews. Stores like this will definitely put your logo on them. So if you have a yoga brand, you just, as I said, this works for any product, not just obviously what we're talking about here. These factories will alter the products how you want them done. So whatever your brand is, you could get your logo put on that design as well. And then let's just scroll down here, and then of course you want to check the other things like the reviews. And with the reviews, I just generally click on the pictures just to make sure, usually sometimes you can see people wearing them as well, and you can see that they're actually like good enough quality. So you can see here, they absolutely look fine. So then we can scroll down here and check the other things, like we want to check maybe the reviews, check the images, check the fabric and stuff like that. And if everything is good, so let's see what we have here. They've got some product images from the customers, which is perfect. And if everything is looking good, once again, you get in, you email the factory, and you just ask them how much it would be to get your logo or design or brand put on to this. Okay, so these are another good supplier. So I would jump over here and I would click add to import list. Now I'm going to do this for another couple of products here. Okay, so we can see here we have yoga mats and we also have bags. That'll be fine as well. That'll be very on brand for this sort of thing. So even though that has a big logo across the side of it, generally they will do the exact same thing. You can get in and you can ask them to put your brand in a much smaller size if you want. Obviously this bag isn't really for yoga, but you get the idea. You'll find something that is for yoga that's similar to this, a sports bag, and you can ask them to put your logo on it as well. Same with the yoga mat here. Now we can see when we jump back over here, it actually says the price is $188. That's why we click on the image and we open it up because that's the price of the strap. You actually have to click on the yoga mat itself. And you can see here that the yoga mats the price ranges, they must be a different size. So, I mean, it's absolutely fine. So they're $6. You make sure they ship to the US, which is $2. And then again, that's $8 all in. You tell them to put your logo on it for your brand. You sell it as an upsell for $30. Okay, now one more thing before we move on here. I just want to mention that even if, as I said, you just wanted to build a general dropshipping brand around this type of niche, and you could build a strong brand around it, and you could find an audience, which is easy enough to find an audience who are into this sort of thing on Instagram, and you can reach out to them. You can do ambassador deals. You can do all sorts of stuff. So if you did want to do that, obviously you could sell all this yoga stuff, but you could also sell things like, incense burners and stuff like that. Things that go into a yoga studio in general. So let's just search incense burner. So if I just wanted a purely dropshipping store and I didn't have any digital products and it wasn't attached to a personal brand, I'd build a brand around it and then I would come in here and I'd find some products. So you can see there's some pretty cool things like these incense burners here. If you have a yoga store, these things would definitely sell. They're really unique sellers. I've seen them on Instagram quite a bit. It is a competitive market, obviously, but if you have a good, strong brand built around it and you know how to target your audience, you can still sell these things. Let's just click on this one here. Actually, there's this one, it says it's $5, and let's just open it up. Okay, so if you have a store selling yoga stuff, this is exactly on brand for what people are going to want to buy. This looks absolutely fantastic. We can see it's $2.50 shipping, $7 approximately to buy the item. So we could sell something like this for $30, $40 easily because it's very unique and make a nice, decent profit on it. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to add this to the store as well. So let's just click on add to import list. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is import these to our store. So to do that, we go over to the left-hand side to import list. And it does give us a few options we can play around with here, but we're going to leave most of them. We're going to do it all on the actual Shopify store itself, not on Deezer's. So let me just see, if we click on the pencil icon beside these yoga mats, for example, we can see that if we click on variants, it's going to give us 17 variants, which are basically just the colors. So let me just see. So there's cheaper ones and there's more expensive ones. And the difference is actually, if I hover over, actually this is 5 millimeters thick. This one is 6 millimeters thick, and if we go up to the top, this one's 3 millimeters thick. So that's why the pricing is different. So what you could do here is you could actually just remove, that's 4, that's 6. So they're actually just selling 3 colors. So what I would do is I would remove all the other ones and I would just import 3 of the thickest ones, 3 of the best quality ones. And once you have those selected, all you need to do is scroll up here and click remove SKUs. Okay, so now we're left with the 3 best quality ones. Now all we need to do is go in here to the images and we can remove whatever images we don't want, but let's just see. Yeah, these ones say 6 millimeters, 6 millimeters. If any of them said 3 millimeters, like this one, we can click on it and we can remove it by just clicking the trash can here. But we can also do that on our Shopify store later on. So we don't need to worry about that too much now. But if you want to delete some variants, this is probably the place to do it. You can do it later on if you want as well. Now, another thing you can do here is set the price as well if you want. But again, we can do that through our Shopify store. So for now, I'm actually just going to click save on this. I just wanted to show you how you could actually do that through Deezers itself. If there's if you only want one item, say for example, you just want to sell the white top here, you could just go in here and remove the rest of them. Say for example, you just wanted to sell the white top here, you could go in and obviously remove the rest of them here. Okay, so now we're going to just import all these to the store. So to do that, we just click on push to Shopify button, and then once again, we click on it here. Now, because we didn't change the price here, we can leave this checked. It says, if you have manually edited the price on Deezers, please uncheck this box. We didn't. We're going to manually change the price on Shopify. So all we need to do here is click on push to Shopify. So let's just jump back over to Shopify here and we want to click on products again. Okay, now we can see these have all been imported and we also still have our digital product here as well. So we have the physical products mixed with the digital ones. Now next we're going to look at cleaning these up a little bit and adding them to their own individual collections as well. So the first thing we're going to do is create some collections for this. So let's just say we have accessories, which would be these headbands, and we have yoga mats and we have digital products. So, and then we have clothing. So let's create 4 collections here. So click on collections on the left hand side. Now click on create collection and we'll do the first one, which is yoga mats. Okay, now what we want to do here is select manual because we're going to be manually adding products to this. Automated just means if we can add products by just tagging products as we import them. It's good if you have a big store, but it's not really necessary for a small enough store. So we can do it manually. We'll call this one yoga mats and we can add in image as well. And we do want to do that. So to do that, we want to go back and I'm going to just pull an image here. So let's just see, this one is for yoga mats. So let's just click on this. You can usually get these images off AliExpress. You can email the supplier and ask them, do you have any images you can use because you're drop shipping with them. But you can see you get some images here as well. So let's just take one of these. So I'm just going to click on the first one here. This is probably the best looking image of them all. And I'll just download it. Now let's jump back over to our collection and I'm going to just drag this in over here. I'd suggest when you're building your own store and your own brand, obviously that's just a very crude and quick way I've done that. You want to make sure you have some high quality images for your collections, make sure everything's coherent and looks well. But for now, just to give you an idea of how it actually works, that's all you need to do. And we can add a short description as well if we want. For now, I'm actually just going to leave that and we can click on save. So when you're doing this yourself, obviously you can just give a description of, you know, talk about the quality of them or whatever it is, just some copywriting and sales stuff. We're not going to get into that now. That's going to take way too long and it's obviously not a copywriting course. So you can go through that yourself and then let's go back to collections on the left and let's just add the others. Accessories, and let's just go back and do that again. And one thing I will say here as well, beyond obviously the description that you should put in yourself, is that you should always rename your images and make sure, once again, that they're not too large. You can also go into Canva here and you can design some cool looking images, you know, that just say accessories, and you could have one of your products in the background as well. There's lots of things you can do to make this look a lot better. Obviously, we're just going to get through it now, obviously. Let's just click on collections again and we'll add 2 more. Okay, so there are the 4 collections done. Now, obviously I just used images from individual products for those collections. If you have a lot of different products in each collection, you want to use something that kind of encompasses them all, or you can use your best image in there. You know, I just use the only ones we have here because we haven't gone too far in building the store yet. So once all those collections are in, we want to click on products again. So now we're going to go through and we're going to make these products look a lot more presentable, and I'm going to show you how to edit them so we can get them ready for sale. So to do that, we'll just click on the first one here. Now, the first thing you want to do is obviously fix the name. This looks outrageous, so we'll just call this one headbands. You would call it something a lot more brandable, something better for your own brand. So you just need to fix the title yourself, and then specifications. There's some stuff in here that you can actually keep for now because you can do your product descriptions later on. But some of the information is actually usually quite useful. So it has like that it's cotton material, which is pretty useful. 70% cotton, 30% polyester. We would keep those things in. We can add them to the tabs later on. We can have a specification tab on its own. So in here wouldn't actually be specifications. It would just be like a nice product description, kind of selling selling the product basically. And then later on we'll have the actual the details, get into the weeds a bit more about what it is. But for now I keep them in. So when it comes to making those edits to your description later on, you still have the information there. So let's actually just remove that. So here you just want to add a nice description about your product as well. The product images here are absolutely perfect. As I said, let's scroll down, if you are to remove some of these variants, you do want to make sure that you remove the product image as well, because you wouldn't be selling it. Now the next thing you want to do here is change the price. So let's just change this to something like $19. So once we have all the prices changed there, the next thing we want to do is come down to the search engine listing, and obviously we want to fix this URL because it's really, really long, just like the heading was. So we'll just call this one headbands. And next you want to click create a URL to redirect. This isn't so important when you just made your store because no one's going to have this link in anyway. But if you do decide to do this later on after the store's been up for a while, you want to change this, you want to make sure you're redirecting it as well. So once all that's in, there's one more thing we actually want to do here. Let's just scroll up again. We want to come down here to collections, and we want to add it to our collection, which is going to be accessories. And let's just hit save. Okay, so that is something you're going to need to do for all of your products. So we're going to go through them now. So let me just back out of that. Always make sure you're saving your work as you go along. So let's just click on that one. Here we'll just remove this. We'll just shorten it a lot more. That's fine. Now, there's a few things in there. Like we can see breathable is pretty good. You can use these terms when you're making your product descriptions. So let's just remove most of it. Material is always good to keep. Sleeveless, sleeve length, blah, blah, blah. Right, that's fine. We can leave that in now. So keep the useful information. So when it comes to editing that product description later on, we still have it there. And then these product images look good. Now, if you did want to have another one of the product, so this is going to be the main image for this product. If you wanted to change that, all you actually need to do is click on this icon here and drag it. So we'll leave this one in for now. So you can put your best image there, obviously. And as you start, you might send this to some influencers if you're in this niche and it's for some user-generated content. And if they send it back, you can just upload your own images manually here as well by dragging them in. That's fine. Now, all of this stuff looks fine. Again, we just need to change the prices. So we'll just change this one to say 29. And once all that's done, the last thing, once again, just to show you for the last time, is come down here and fix the URL. So let's just remove that. Remove that as well. Redirect it. And then we want to add it to its own collection. So this one will be under yoga outfits. And then we just want to hit save. So you want to go through all of your products and make sure all of this is in correctly and your prices are in correctly as well and stuff like that, and that it's added to the collection. But there's one more thing we want to do to each of our products. We can do this individually for the products, or we can do it in bulk. I'm going to show you individually first. So we can see it's published to no sales channels. And you want to click manage and then manage sales channels. And in here, we want to select online store and click done. Next, you want to click save. And then we can jump back over here to products. So to do it in bulk, you just need to select this icon here to select them all. If we wanted to sell all of these on the online store and set them basically as active, what we would do is include it in sales channels. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to go through and edit the rest of these, and I will see you in the next step. Okay, so now that we have some products in our store, we can look at editing the homepage. So to do that, we come down to sales channels on the left-hand side and click on online store. In here, we want to go down to our theme and click on customize. Okay, so let's just have a little scroll here and we can see what we have. We got this announcement bar at the top. We got our main menu here. We got our big hero call to action. Not hero call to action. We got our big hero image, should I say. We can add a call to action in there. And then we have some featured products and stuff. And then a subscription to a subscription box down the bottom. We're going to go through these. We're going to add some. We're going to remove them. We're going to optimize them. So the first thing we're going to start with is our announcement bar at the top. And we're going to work our way down. So the announcement bar we can use to tell people that they get free shipping, or we can use people, you know, if we say the brand represents something and it donates money to charity, say 10% of proceeds go to mental health charities. If it's a yoga and meditation website, you could do something like that. You would put that in the announcement bar at the top here. So the first thing we're going to look at is the color scheme. You can see it gives us 5 schemes to play around with here. There's not a lot of options. There's not a lot of variety. But what we can actually do is if we come over to the left of theme settings, let's close that. And we click on colors here, we can see we can actually edit these schemes individually. So we can change this one. So let's say I'll change the blue to something like a light purple for now. Obviously just play around with your own color schemes. I just want to show you how they work here. So you can edit the color scheme there, and then whenever you're editing and adding an element later on, you can select one of the 5 that we have here and it will go to the default one. So that's how you go in and actually change those individually. But when we click on the announcement bar up here, we can see down, we can go in and select what actual color scheme we want to choose for it. So I'm going to just stick with 5 now, just to add, you know, make it look a little bit different. And the next thing we want to do is actually make the font a little bit bigger. So to do that, we come over to the left-hand side and we want to go down to typography. And they don't give us a huge amount of flexibility in Shopify, but we can see here where it says headbands and incense burner and the product names here, the font is very small as well. So we want to actually fix that across the board. So we're going to just make the font size bigger. Okay, so we can see that's been enlarged, and if you come down here, they're also bigger. So that's perfect for now. So let's just jump back. And if you don't have a use for an announcement bar, you can actually just turn it off by clicking the 3 dots and selecting hide. But generally, I like to leave it on because it looks well on mobile, and you know, you also can get a bit of information in there above the fold. So when someone lands on the site, they know that you delivered to their country for free or something like that. And next, you want to come down and click on the header. Now we can see it just says My Store on the left-hand side. We want to make sure we add our logo here. So to do that, to add your logo, you go over to Theme Settings on the left, and under Theme Settings, you can see there's an option to add a logo. So you jump over to Canva, click Create a Design. Now, if you Google it, it tells you that 200 by 200 pixels is probably the best size. So we'll just set it for that for now. And you can obviously play around with it and guess until you find something that looks good. You can obviously scale it up or scale it down to whatever you need. I'm just going to type in yoga here and take whatever they have. Okay, I'm going to just choose this one here. Now, depending on the color, obviously we just then might need to change the color of the top bar, for example. But just to make sure it matches, you know. But we'll see. We'll just download this one for now and see where we are. Let's just jump back over to the store and we can just drag this in. Okay, now we can see there is a little bit too much white space created when we drag that in, so you can actually just reduce the logo here. So you can see where it says desktop logo width. We can make it a little bit smaller if we want, and you can play around with it, as I said, and remove. I could have cropped this probably a little bit better to take the white space from the top and the bottom. Do whatever you need to do to get it looking well. And obviously we got our fav icon down here as well, which is just this image up here in the tab where you can see it says the Shopify bag and the Canva logo there. That's going to be the one for our website. So we can also just drag that in here and it's going to resize it for us, and it will then use that as our fav icon up here. Okay, so now that we have our logo in, we want to click back on the header over here, and we can range where we want this to show up. So we can show it in the center if we want to. Top center, we can show it top left. That looks terrible. Middle center is probably a good option, so we can have it in the middle there as well. And if that was the case, you probably have it a little bit larger than this. So let's just scroll down a little bit further here. What we want to actually check here is the top and bottom padding. So here it says 20 pixels. We want to reduce these two. And then we can see it actually gives us a little more room to play around with the size of this logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back to the left. Sorry. I'm going to jump back over here to Theme Settings. And then in Theme Settings, I'm going to make it a little bit larger because it's a little bit more forgiving now that the padding has been removed. So that's looking okay. Let's put it maybe 80. Okay, now again, just click on header. Let's just scroll down here. And one thing I generally like to turn on is the sticky header, which I'll show you what that does now. If it's off, when you scroll down, you can see the header disappears, but when you scroll up, it appears again. You could leave it on as that if you want, or you can have it on as always, which means it always stays there. Or I can turn it on always, and then you'll see the logo gets smaller when you scroll down. That's another option as well. For now, I'm going to leave it on scroll up, because usually when people are looking to navigate on a website, they go back up to get to the top, and they'll see this pop up for them straight away. Okay, so we got some other interesting options here that you can play around with if you need. And when you're first starting your store, you probably won't need it, so we're not going to get into them too much now. Is the country and region selector. So if you wanted to have a toggle here that somebody could select a different region. If you have a US store and a European store, you could have different prices and stuff like that. You could have a drop down here, but at the start, keep it simple. Just do everything in dollars or everything in euros, one or the other. But if you want to go through the effort, you can do that as well. You can turn this on. And you also have a language selector. So you can turn the language selector on, and then you could add a second language to your website. So you could have Spanish as well or something like that if you want. And then a drop down shows up in the top bar up here, allowing people to change their language. But for now, we're not going to get into any of that. But what we will want to fix here is this, which we can see in the header, the font is actually very small. And we're going to fix this. It doesn't give us the option to do it here, but down here in CSS, we can actually do it. So we need to click on Custom CSS. So I'll also put this code just below the video, so you'll just need to paste it in, but it basically just changes the size of the font here. So we can set it to something like 22. So once you paste it in, you just need to change these numbers here, where it says 22px, 22 pixels, to whatever you want it to be yourself. So for me, 20 looks pretty good right now. Let me just go up here 1 second. If you see this icon in the top right, if you click on that, you can see what it looks like on different platforms. So it's looking kind of okay on mobile. We'll see what it looks like on desktop. Actually, not desktop, we go full screen. So the size does look okay here. What I would probably actually do in this case is I'd probably add the logo into the middle. So let's just do that. Scroll back up to the top and I will do middle center. Okay, I think that's looking better. Maybe when we add some more pages later on, I might actually change this around, but for now it's absolutely fine. So all we need to do now is click on save. So now we're going to start editing our main image up here in the image banner, which is the above the fold section it's called. So it's the first section somebody sees when they land on mobile or when they land on desktop. So this, whatever we have written here, whatever copywriting we have should be captivating enough, and we can have a call to action as well. So to keep it simple now, obviously you can edit your own one in Canva. You can use a product image if you want, but now I'm going to show you how to actually add the image. You just need to drag a file into here where it says first image, or click select image to drag one in, to import one. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use one of the free images that Shopify provides just to move things along. So click on explore free images and I'm going to just type in yoga. Now let's scroll down and see what they have. So I'm just going to go something like this for now. So obviously once you import your own image, you just want to click on select. And then if we scroll down here, what we want to do is, let me just see, banner height. This is obviously a very tall banner. We want to shorten that a little bit. So I'm going to do medium, see what that looks like. Okay, so we can see everything fits in a little bit better up there. Let's just see what it looks like on full width. Let's just click back on the banner here and let's go through some of the options that they have. So they got the banner height, desktop content position. So that's at the bottom center. Let's just leave it to middle center. And we can see it's a little more balanced. And this option here, show container on desktop, that just, you know, if it doesn't stand out enough, you can do that. You can obviously change the color scheme of it as well, but I'm going to just leave it off for now. Okay, so the next thing we want to do here is click on the heading, and obviously you can then change your heading to whatever you want it to be. You can even make some of it bold. So obviously you want to put in a catchy headline here to let them know what your brand's about or what your product's about. So you can also, what you can do is, if you want, you can play around with the AI as well. So you can remove that and then click generate text, describe what this text is about. So we'll just say something like, a course to become a yoga instructor. We'll leave the tone as expert and just click generate. Okay, so let's just pick one of these. We'll say unlock your potential as a proven yoga teacher in weeks. Now we'd actually make this a little bit smaller because it's way too big there. So let's just shorten this up a little bit more, say unlock your potential. But once we have that in, the next thing we want to look at is to come down here to the button. And we want to click on that. Now, what we can do if we want is we can actually add a secondary button. So if we do browse more, you can write anything here and an extra button, another button will pop up beside it. But for now, I'm just going to leave one button here and I want to show you what we can actually do with it. So let's just say, browse all products, something like that. Shop all will be fine. Whatever call to action you want, wherever you want to lead them is absolutely fine. But then what you can do is you can click on the first button link. You can say exactly where you want your link to go. So you can send it to some products, or you can send it to another page on your website, wherever you want them to go, basically. Here, I'll just leave it as browse all products for now. If you did want to advertise something here, say you were just promoting your course, you could just say view the course or whatever it is, whatever you're called, better call to action than that, but some sort of call to action that would bring them straight to the course page as well. But once you have that in and you have your URL in, we can move on. So we just want to click save. Okay, so now we're going to go through some of the sections we can add to our homepage. You can see there's just one section here that's featured products. To add sections, we just hover over the plus icon here and click add section. Now the first thing we can add here is a collection list, which is going to be a list of all of our collections. And then here we can edit how the collections look. We can change the size of the text here. We're just going to leave it on medium. We can change, we can call this whatever we want. We can call it spring collections or whatever it is. Or say it's just a bunch of digital products, you can call it, latest courses, something like that. You can change the image ratio as well. We're going to actually just leave all of that for now. Number of columns that display on desktop, all very self-explanatory stuff. We'll just leave that as 3. You come down here, you just play with play around with some of these things yourself, depending on how many products you have on your website. So let's just go back here and we'll have a look. We can actually add our collections by clicking, let's go back so you can see that. On the left-hand side here, this is the structure of your website. You just click on collection here. Now, you can also just click on the actual elements on the right-hand side on the screen. So if I wanted to change the collection here, I just click on one of them, select collection, click accessories. Here we can click the next one, and I'll just pick something else. Let's just pick yoga outfit, say, select that. Sorry, I didn't click select on the first one. Let me just go back. Accessories, select. Then I go here and we'll select courses. Actually, no, I'll select yoga mats here. Okay, now let's go down a little further. Now what I want to do here is add another section. And this section is going to be a featured product. And here we just need to click on the image again and we can select our product. Here I'm going to add the course. So scroll down, yoga instructor training. Now you can do this with any featured product you want, obviously. Just click select. Now if we click on the title here, it's going to give us the option to make this a little bit smaller because it looks huge there on the home page. We can do other things like here, we can click on the text up here as well, which is called the vendor text. So you can just change this as well. If you want to delete where it says my store, you would remove that and you would say complete course or whatever you want really. Then you can't do anything with the price in here. This quantity selector, it depends what you have. If you have some products with some variants, I'm going to show you that in a minute actually. Products with some different variations, you can change some of these things here as well. But for now, we're going to just leave them the way they are. So basically, if you have a sales page here and you've got a lot of text up above this, then as they come further down the page, they can just add it directly to the cart, which is a great feature here. So now we know how to do featured images. Let's just actually go back up above it between these two, and we're going to add another section. So click on the plus. Now in here, I would add something like maybe a multi-column. If I was selling a course, for example, then you could have feature 1 of the course, feature 2 of the course, feature 3. And then what we could do here as well is we can come down and we can add another section. So we can click section again here, and we can add more things as well. So if as I said, if we are selling a course and there's a lot of information in there, we can do things like this sort of section where we have, feature 1 of what's included in the course, then you add your text, you got feature 2, add it in your, add an image, feature 3, add an image as well. And then you come down here, you got a few more features, and then all the way down the bottom, they can buy the course, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's just open this up and see what it all looks like now. We'll go full screen and see where we're at. So, okay, that looks fine. We got some collections up the top. Then you got some information about the course, for example. You got some more information, and then you have an option to buy it down here. Now, let's just go jump back in. Okay, now just below this, let's start adding some more sections. So you could add things just to show you what kind of options you have here. Now, there's a few very useful things. Like obviously you got, say, something like the contact form down here as well. So that's actually just placed that in the wrong place. So if that happens to you and it's not putting it where you tell it to put it, you can just go back here and you can actually just drag these around. So let me just make these a little smaller. So you just reduce them. And then what you can do is you can just click on it here and you can drag it down. It's a very useful thing to know how to do. And then another useful feature while we're in here actually, because these are the featured products that came along when by default. So say we wanted to turn that off, we could remove it if we want, but we can also just click on this icon here and we can hide it. So let's just hit save there, save our work. And then we have been adding sections on the right hand side here, and sometimes this gets a little finicky and the plus thing to add another section doesn't show up, which is exactly what's happening now. So I'm going to show you how to fix that because it's quite annoying when it happens. So let's just jump back here. you can come back down to this section here and you can select add section. Okay, so there is a lot of other things you can add in here. Obviously, you can, depends on what sort of aesthetic you want. You can have a collage of the products there, or you can also have a featured collection. So you just have one collection and all of the individual products within that collection on display. Depending on how many products you have in your store, play around with whatever you need to add yourself. But one more very useful thing I want to actually show you here is the collapsed content. And this basically I would just use as a FAQ. So we just rename it and then you just click on any of the individual ones and we'll call it question 1. And in here we add the content, so answer 1. So if somebody expands on that, we can see question and an answer. And obviously the check mark doesn't make much sense, so we'll just click on that and we'll change it to a question mark. And you go through and you'd add all your FAQ in here for the homepage for, if you're selling products. You can have shipping times and stuff like that as well, so you don't have to navigate off here if you did want to just buy it straight from the homepage. So now I actually want to add one more section here just to show you something I mentioned a moment ago. So let's actually just scroll back up here. Where will I put it? Actually, you know what? I'll put it just below, just above this section here. So again, it doesn't let me add a section here for some reason. So I actually just need to go back over here to the left and make sure I select the right one. Actually, sorry, I'll just add the section here. Now, once we add the section, we'll go featured product. Go back again because I want to move it up the top. Let me just make these a little smaller. I want to bring it all the way up the top here. So just below collections, actually. Okay, now I want to click here to add my product. So I just select product, and here we'll pick sleeveless yoga short. Obviously, that product's name doesn't really make much sense. I don't know why I must have left the word short in by accident. So sleeveless yoga top or whatever it needs to be changed to. Your products are going to have proper descriptions and proper images and stuff. Although the image here actually is actually fine. So I just wanted to show you this one here because this has variations or variants. So on the right hand side, you can see here. Well, the first thing I'll do is I'll click the heading. I want to make that a little bit smaller because it's taking up quite a lot of space there. And then you can see these here. These are your selectors. So you can select which color, the customer can select which color they want to purchase. So one thing I wanted to show you here is that when you click on this box on the left-hand side, it gives you an option to change the type. So what this is, these are showing up as pills, but if that's taking up too much space in the homepage, we can turn it to a drop-down. And now we can see we have a drop-down menu here, which makes it look a lot better. So now let's have a quick look and see how all of this looks. So let me just expand it again. We're going to check what it looks like on mobile as well in a second. There might be some edits to make. In most cases, it's responsive enough, so there won't be. I mean, it's all looking pretty good. Obviously, you would turn them all into the question marks as well and do all of that sort of stuff. So if you want to, change the color of this as well, just so it stands out a little more, you can do that. So you can turn it into black. You can, we went through this in the earlier steps, so you can go through and change it to whatever color scheme you want yourself. Okay, so now we just need to make sure we save our work, of course, and I want to show you, we're going to move on to the next step. And the next step is going to be the product pages here. So if I come down to any of these products and I click on view full details, sorry, 1 second, it will take us here to our product page. So let's make this full width, and we can see it's not looking fantastic. There's definitely a lot of edits we can make here. So we're going to get into that next. Now, before we jump in, I want to just show you this menu bar up the top here. This helps you jump around. So when you want to make edits, you can jump to the home page to make your edits. Then you can come in here, you can go to your product page. If you have your blog set up, you can go to your blog page as well. And you can go in and make all of those edits. So let me just double check one thing. Let's go back. You can see down here, you've got your cart page as well. So if you wanted to add an upsell plugin or something, you can come in here and make some edits also. So now we're going to look at editing our product pages. So to begin with this, we want to come down to online store. Then we want to jump over here to customize. Now up in the top bar here, we want to click on where it says homepage. You want to come down to products and we want to click on default product here. So this is the one that's assigned to all 6 products or all the products you're going to have. So it's basically the template for them all. So let me just open this up just so you can see what it looks like when we go full screen and some of the problems that it has. These variants over here, they take up a lot of space if you've got a few of them, so we can fix that. The product images, they look a little messy because they're all over the place. They're scrolling all the way down the page as well. This description over here doesn't look great either. A lot of it's way off, to be honest. And also this you might like section is looking a little bit bare. So we're going to fix all of this now. So the first thing we're going to look at fixing is going to be the variants here. So let me just expand this 1 second. Okay, so to begin, we just click on the variant, so the color picker here, and I'm going to leave this as a drop down. Now, if you have individual products, you can make templates for, individual pages as well. So say you might want to have 2 or 3 variants for certain things. If you only have 3 colors, those little icons don't look so bad. But if you have like 10 of them, they take up way too much of the page. So you want to keep it as a drop down for those type of pages. So just to let you know, there's 2 options you can play around with there. Okay, so next we're going to look at editing these images on the left-hand side. So to do that, we can just click on variant picker over here. We just want to go back 1, and we can see on product information, we want to click on that. Now we can change things like the size of the images as well, but what I actually want to do here now is just change it from the desktop layout. We want to change it from stacked to thumbnail carousel. Now we can see it looks a lot tidier down here. And when someone's on mobile, they can just use their thumb and they can scroll through the photographs. Now there's a few other options you can play around with here, but for now I'm going to just leave it as thumbnail carousel. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at here is this you may also like section. This is useful, but it doesn't go far enough. So we're going to actually replace this in a moment with a plugin that does a much better job of it. So what we actually just need to do here is hide this one. So to do that, you just click on the symbol down here. All we're really doing here is tidying up the homepage a little bit, making it look a little more balanced. Next, we're going to look at adding our upsells. So to add our upsells, we need to go back to the dashboard and we need to install a free app. So again, we come down to apps on the left-hand side. We can click on recommended apps. And now let's scroll down and go to the Shopify App Store. And in here, we want to search for Zoorix. So Zoorix and hit search. Now on the left-hand side, we can click on this one and just click add app. And then lastly, we just need to click on install app. Okay, so there's a massive amount of features in this app. We're just going to use the cross-sell features for now. So we just leave the top one checked and we just click on next. You can go through these features yourself, but this is just to show you how to use the basics of the app. So it's basically saying, do we want to show it on the product page and the cart page? I would suggest leaving both of them on, and then we click on next again. And these are just the products we want our upsells to show on. So it suggests selecting all of our products. So just check them all and click select. Now, once again, we hit next. Now, these are the products that we want to display. So, I mean, you can get, a lot fancier with this. So you can have, say you're selling a course and then there's an upsell to that specific course. You can match upsells to certain products, but for now, we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to just display random ones below it. So to do that here, we just click select products again. We're going to select all of our products and click on select. Now here we want to click finalize offer. And finally, you want to just hit enable Zoorix. And once that's all done, just hit publish. Okay, next we're going to jump over to settings here in the top and we click on middle and bottom so I can show you where the placements are. There's 2 options for the placements basically. There's lots of other options in here as well. Lots of customizations. We don't need any of them for now. You can come in here and if you want to change the color scheme, you want to change how many items show in the cross-sell section, you can do all that here. For now, I click save. And I want to show you one more thing here. When we go over to plans on the very far right, we can see that the app is completely free up until this product makes you $100 in sales. At that stage, it's obviously showing its worth, so it's worth upgrading. But until you get to there, it's completely free, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so next we want to just make sure this is displaying and working correctly. So let's just go over to online store on the left-hand side here and click on view your online store. Now let's just scroll down. We'll pick a product here. We'll stick with the one we've been editing. So go to this one. So if we scroll down, we'll see a couple of things on the page have changed. We've got this cart on the right-hand side, which also has a nice upsell here. It's got them down below here as well. But it also has it under the buy now button, frequently bought together. Click to add. So you can click on any of those and they'll automatically be added to the cart. And if you uncheck them, they'll be removed. And then let's scroll down a little further and we can see there's another section as well with more cross-sells. So as we had in the settings over here on the left-hand, as we had over here in the settings, should I say, the middle and the bottom, this one down here is going to be the bottom. So if you wanted to turn that off, you just uncheck it. And this one up here is the middle. So if you didn't want that, you could untick that one as well if you felt having 2 of them was too much. I'm going to leave both of them on for now. There's one more thing I wanted to mention. We can see frequently bought together, click to add here. We can actually change that text to something else, something else if we want. And to do that, we just come into settings. We come into texts up here. And you can see you can just change it there. So let's just jump back over to our store here, because this should be showing up not just on our product page here, which obviously it is. It should also be showing up on the cart. So if we click on the cart icon at the top right, you'll see that the upsells should also be displaying in there as we turn that on, and that's a carousel. So this way we can give our customers every opportunity to add some of those upsells. So the next thing we're going to look at fixing is the description down here. We're going to add a couple of tabs so we can add some more information and keep it looking nice and clean, keep everything compartmentalized. So to begin with that, we need to go back over to our dashboard, go down here on the left hand side. We're going to click on apps, and once again go to apps, recommended apps. Now you want to scroll down and jump over to the App Store. In here, we just want to search for the word tabs. You're going to see lots of options in here for this. The one we're going to go with is Tabs Studio. They have a really good free version. So to do that, we just click on Add App. And next, you want to click on Install App. Okay, so now we have that installed. We can click on Manage Apps here. You're going to see how this works. It's very straightforward. Now, I think in the paid version, they let you create tabs that are added automatically across all products. But in the free version, I think they might just give you one of those. So I think that's called the Pro tab down here. I actually don't use them because unless you have a store with a lot of products, you don't really need it. You can do it manually. I'm going to show you how to do it manually for each individual product. And how that works is when we're doing a product description, basically the first piece of text that we put into the description is going to go in under a description tab. Now, when we go to our next with the next tab that we want, we just need to create a H3 heading in the description, and that will create a new tab, and anything that goes under that will be put underneath that tab. If that sounds complicated, don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it now. So to do it, we're going to go back to our products, and we're going to stick with the headbands here because that's what we've been working on. So let me just move that back. So basically anything in here is going to go under a description tab. So I'll just show you that very quickly, what that looks like. So let's just hit save there, because I haven't actually done anything yet, but because we've installed the app, it's going to look a little bit different. Just 1 second. Okay, let's just jump back over to our store. So we'll click on this. Actually, this is the store preview. So I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to go to online store on the left-hand side and click on view your online store. Now let's browse to the product. And then when that loads up, we should be able to see, if you scroll down here, we can see that we now have a description tab that this text falls under. Now there's a lot of white space here as well, and there's also no other tabs. So I'm going to show you how we go about fixing those two issues now. So let's just jump back over to our product. And in here, the reason we're probably seeing so much white space is because this was copied and pasted in from somewhere else. So if we click on the code here, we can see there is a lot of actual extra code added around it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just remove that text. And it's going to enter something like this is the description. Now, if we wanted to add a second tab, all we need to do is put in whatever we want it to be. So maybe shipping. Then we highlight it and we want to set that to a H3 heading. And then anything, so that's basically going to be a new tab. Anything you make a H3 heading will be a new tab. Any text entered underneath it was going to be the text that goes into that tab. So let's just put in shipping takes 14 days. Obviously put in whatever you need there. And then underneath we'll put in, say, returns. Set that to a H3. Come down again and we can add whatever text we want in here. We can put in something like 28-day refund policy or something. Okay, obviously put in whatever you want yourself there. Don't just, this is just kind of placeholder text for now. Once we have those in, we just want to click on save. So once that's in, we want to jump over to the product here. Let's just refresh the page. And if we scroll down here, we should be able to see the 3 tabs have been added. And we can see the content is displaying underneath each of them. So for example, if you had a really long shipping policy or really long returns, or you wanted to add some information about the product, maybe you have a size guide, which would be an image, you could have this featured under here. So, when they land on the page, it's not going to be taking up a huge amount of space because the description will be 2 or 3 lines. But when they click on returns, it might open up a big image down here and everything will then resize and the page won't look great while they're on that tab. But it just means that you can have the information in there without it actually overwhelming them as soon as they land on the product page. Okay, so next we're going to look at adding a blog to our website. So to begin with that, we come down to online store on the left-hand side. And in here, we want to click on navigation. Now we want to add this to the main menu. So click on main menu. Next, we want to click on add menu item and we'll just call it blog. And then over here under link, if you actually just click in here, it'll give you some options. So we can click on blogs or blog posts. I'm going to click on blogs. Now this one by default is called news. We can edit that. In a minute, I'm going to show you how to do that. So we just click on news there and click on add. Okay, so that's going to be added to our main menu. So now we just need to click on save. Next, we want to jump over here to the left-hand side to blog posts. And here we just want to click on create blog post. Now this is very self-explanatory how you create them. You just put in your title. So let's just put in placeholder for now. So title, blog. And obviously the content, you have all of these things. You can format it so you can do your headings, you can add images, you can add video, you can do anything you can do with any other text editor basically. So here I'll just put in, this is the blog post, just to have some placeholder in there. And then I'll scroll down, you can change your search engine listing as well, just like we do with our products. And come down a little further here, we can see a couple of other things. The blog is going to be added to as news, but as I said, we're going to just change the name of this one as opposed to creating a new one. And store author, we're going to leave it as the admin name as well. And in here, in here under featured image, that's where you can drag in a featured image. So once we have all of that in, we just need to make our blog post visible and then come up here and click on save. Now after we have our first blog post created and saved, we can come back over here to blog posts on the left. And now there's an extra option up here that says manage blogs. In here, we can click on the only blog we have, and we can see comments are actually disabled. So if you want to turn them on, you can change it here. And also we can change the title. So I'm just going to call this blog. You can obviously change this to industry news, reviews, or whatever else you want it to be. Here it's fine. It's going to leave it as blog, and then we're just going to hit save. So once that's in, we're going to navigate back to the home page, and we should be able to see this in the top menu. Perfect. So we can see up here, it's been added. So if we click on this, it should bring us to our blog. And this is where we're going to see a list of all those blog posts that we add over time. So if I click on it, it's actually going to bring it to the actual article. And then this is where all your text will be featured. The product image is probably way too big for what it should be. I just dragged one in that I had prepared from earlier. You can probably figure out exactly what the most optimal size is for Shopify, and then just drag an image in here to make it look a little more presentable. But for now, it seems okay. And then you have the title and your blog post down below. Okay, so now we're going to look at adding some stuff to our menu bar up here. So we can see if we click on catalog here, it's going to show us all of the products that we have on our website, but that's a little bit messy. You want to have these categorized a little bit better in your menu bar. So to begin with that, we come over to our dashboard, and on the left-hand side, you want to click on online store and then come down to navigation. And in this example, as we have physical and digital products in the store, we might want to create a menu item for courses. So what we would do in that case is we click on add menu item. Up here, you just type in courses. And then we come down to link here, and we want to select collections. And in here, you just click on the selection for courses. And this will display all of the products that are dropped into this collection. So if you've got a few different courses in there, you drag them all into that collection, and they'll all display under this tab. So let's just click on add. So I'm going to add one more menu item here. So we'll do something like for the accessories maybe. So where are we? Collections here. Then we'll just select accessories and hit add. Next, we're going to save it. Okay, so then we want to take a quick look at the homepage and see how it's looking. Okay, so we can see the problem here is that the text is being wrapped because we have too many menu items. This might happen to you as you grow your own website, so I'm going to show you how we go about fixing that now. So all we really need to do is click on the menu bar up here, the header, should I say. And then we just want to change the logo position. So let's put it in the top left. Actually, sorry, that's not it. Let's put it in the middle left. Perfect. Now let's just click save. And that's looking a lot better. And this space here will be reserved for if you wanted to have a country selector or a language selector. So let's just open this back up, and I'll just show you what that actually would look like. So we just enable country region selector and enable language selector. So if you are using them, you have that extra space there that you can add them into. So let's just open it back up here. We might need to refresh the page. So as you can see here, we now have the region selector, and we also have the language selector here. Now, if these aren't showing up, what you might need to do is just add some extra regions that you'll be selling in. If you just have your own country by default, you need to add some other countries in there if you're going to be selling to other countries, obviously. And if you need it in an extra language, you're going to have to add the extra language as well. And to do that, we just come back over to our dashboard and go into settings on the left-hand side. And then to add different regions, we want to click on markets. This is where we add all of the regions that we'll be selling into. So if you're selling beyond your own country and you add other countries, they'll show up in here in the region selector. And for the languages, you come down to the left-hand side again. You come onto the left-hand side and go down to languages. And in here to add another language, all you need to do is click on add language and select whatever one you need. Now, obviously, when you're starting off, you might need most of this stuff, but it's just good to know it's there and that you'll be able to use it going forward if you do need it. So before you make your store live, you need to do a few other things as well. And one of the most important things you need to do is come over to your online store and go down to preferences. And in here, we want to enter our homepage title. And this is what's going to show up in Google. So you can see it says My Store there. You're going to have something else showing up. Obviously, that's going to be your brand name. So here I'll just type in like yoga store for now, just as a placeholder. And as this is all for your homepage, whatever keywords you're trying to target, this description here should be keyword rich as well. So you want to describe what your website's about a little bit. It's going to show up in Google. It's going to show up in Google. So you want to make it enticing as well, enticing enough so people click through. So you can work on your homepage description here. And as I said, make it keyword rich also. And then another thing you want to do is go into something like Canva and create an image that's going to show up for your homepage. So it needs to be your brand. It needs to represent your brand. And when people share your homepage on social media, that image will be the one that's chosen by default to be displayed. Now it's just pulled the logo, but you're going to want something better there yourself. And beyond that, the rest of the stuff is self-explanatory. You can add your Google Analytics here as well. You can add your Facebook pixel, and you can set your privacy settings and stuff like that. And when your store is ready to go live, you can remove the password from the store here, and you can pick a plan and upgrade. So 2 more very important things you need to do, of course, before launching your store is to add a domain name to your store, so your custom domain name. And the other one is to set up your payments, so you can start accepting payments. So to do that, you come down to settings on the left-hand side, and then you want to come down to payments down here. And in payments, you've got a couple of options. Depending on what country you're in, you can just use Shopify payments, and it's very straightforward to go through that process. And you can also use PayPal as well. So it's very easy to set up the payments with Shopify. They make all of that stuff so simple. So once you have your payments in, we're going to come down here and we're going to select domains next. And this is where you're going to be able to buy and connect a custom domain name. So obviously all you need to do is click on buy new domain. And so let me just go back, because if you already have a domain you purchase somewhere else and you want to use it for your store, or you're transferring that domain name over to Shopify, you can do that in here by just connecting it. But if you don't have one, just click buy new domain, go through the process of purchasing one, and it will let you connect it. And once you set up your domain name, you'll then be able to get a professional email address. You'll be able to generate professional email addresses that are attached to that domain name. So here we're going to look at 2 options to handle email subscriptions and newsletters. So to begin with that, we want to edit the homepage. So let's just expand this and come over here to the left-hand side. I'm going to add this up to the top. There's 2 options, as I said. I'm going to show you. The first one is this. We're going to use Shopify and Shopify email. That's one option. But the other option I want to show you before we jump into that is if you host your newsletter with something like Substack or a third-party platform, you can also use that here. So to begin with that, we're going to click on Add New Section. So we can add a section here. So once we click on that, what we want to do is we want to scroll down and we want to go to Custom Liquids, which is going to allow us to add some code in here. So once we have that selected, we can see there's a field here where we can enter a code. So I'm going to use Substack as an example here. If you have a Substack newsletter, you would just come over to your settings, and most of them will have this. And let's just search for embed. And this is going to be our embed code, so we can embed Substack onto the website. So all we need to do is paste that in here. Now we can see it's over on the left-hand side because it's defined a width and a height there, so you can play around with that to get it to look a little bit better. In here, you can actually just do 100% if you want. So we can see now the width of that box is going to be 100%. And let's have a little look on mobile, see what it looks like. Okay, so it looks fine on mobile as well. And obviously, if you want to change the color and stuff like that, because this is getting pulled from Substack, you'll need to come over here and make those edits from Substack yourself. But that's just one option. We're going to now look at the option of using Shopify as our email provider and our newsletter. So let's just click on Save here. Okay, so if you wanted to use Shopify for your email, you just click on the plus here to add a section, and we select Email Sign Up. Now, obviously, you can change the text here. You can change the text here, and this is where they enter their email, of course. Now, we do have this, as I mentioned, in the footer as well, but you might want to somewhere more prominent. You might have another call to action up here, 10% discount, or or whatever it is. Let them know what your newsletter is about if you have a newsletter. So once we have that in there and we can start collecting emails, we want to click Save and then jump back to our dashboard. And if we click on customers on the left-hand side here, we're going to see there's nothing in there now. But if we come onto online store and click view your online store and we add an email to that newsletter list, it should show up. So let's just enter an email in here. So let's just hit enter on that. And we can see it says thanks for subscribing. So let's jump back over here. And if we have a little look in, let's refresh this page. Hopefully it should show up. Great. So anytime you get a new subscriber, you can come in here to customers and you can check. Now, if we click on this, you'll be able to see a couple of small things. You'll be able to see, where are we? So yeah, just email. So it's you're subscribed for email marketing, basically. So that's exactly what we're looking for. And that's all done by default. So there's nothing else you can really do here or that you need to do. And this is just telling you that the customer hasn't placed an order yet, that they've only come from the newsletter. So once you have a couple of people signed up to your newsletter, what you want to do is come down to apps on the left-hand side. And then you want to click on recommended apps. Now let's scroll down here. Now you can go to the Shopify App Store, but the app I'm actually looking for is suggested here under Made by Shopify. It's the Shopify email app. Now if this isn't showing up for you, just go to the App Store and search for Shopify email. So let's just click on add. And once that's been added, we just need to click on install app. So once that's been installed, we can see it then shows up under apps on the left-hand side. And if we click it here, we can see under installed apps, it's there. Now there's a couple of useful things we can do in here, but you won't be able to actually send emails on the free trial, but I'm going to just show you the things that you're going to be able to do once you eventually upgrade. So the first thing we'll look at is the create automation. So if somebody gets to the checkout on your website and then they leave the website, Shopify knows, and basically if they've entered their email in and then abandoned the cart before they actually, made the purchase. So maybe their cart was declined or something like that, for whatever reason, then they'll get it. You can set up an automation to automatically follow up to that customer and ask them maybe, is there a problem? Or you can offer them a discount. It's a great way of, getting customers back. Maybe they just changed their minds, getting them back by giving them a 10-15% discount. Setting up an automation for abandoned checkout is really useful for that. And then you can go through them here yourself, but there's some other useful ones. Like if someone subscribes to your newsletter, you can send them that automated email. Maybe it's just telling them what your offer is about, that sort of thing. You can maybe send them a freebie or a discount or whatever it is. That's another really useful automation. And then you got post-purchase thank you, which is automatically sent when someone orders. And then, customer win back's a useful one as well. I mean, instead of someone purchased before, you can send them an offer of a discount for, to buy a similar product. So all very useful automations. So let's just jump back here and we're going to check out next the manual emails. The manual campaigns, should I say. So to do that, we just click on create campaign. Now this just lets us send manual emails to anyone who signed up to that newsletter. So you can see in here, you got basically, they're just templates. You can edit them yourself, but they're just a good place to start. So if you wanted to let people know about a new course you have, you could use the product one, for example. So let's just click on that, open that up. So next we need to click select. And in here, you can see you can send it to all of your subscribers. You can create segments of subscribers as well. We only have one, of course, at the moment. And then the rest is very self-explanatory. It's your subject line. You can generate text here as well automatically, but you're not really going to want to do that. And then you have preview text just below it, which is going to be what displays in their email client as the first line. But what's also important here is where it's being sent from. So once you connect your domain, your custom domain to Shopify, you're going to be able to verify that, and the email will be coming from your own custom domain. And if you scroll down here, you can see there's lots of different customizations you can make. You can edit this however you want. You can remove things if you want. You can add other sections. And you can add different products and stuff like that as well that you want to link directly to. So depending on what you're going to be promoting here, obviously you can change the text and all that sort of stuff. And we can see here where it says My Store. This is actually pulling our store name from the Shopify dashboard. So we're going to need to go in and actually name our store in a moment. I'm going to show you how we go about doing that. But the other option here is to have it as a logo as well. So to change the name of our store, we just need to go back over to the Shopify dashboard, go over to settings on the left-hand side. And then in here under store details, you can see store name is My Store. So you just click on edit here and you call it whatever you want. So let's put in a placeholder for now and click save. So let's just jump back over here to the email and let's just change this back to store name and it should update. But as you can see, if you're selling lots of products through Shopify, the Shopify email platform can be a really good option as it integrates really well with the rest of Shopify, obviously. But if you just have a newsletter and you're not really selling stuff at the moment, you're just using it as a store, maybe you're looking at selling a digital product, a course down the line or something like that, and you're just kind of pushing your newsletter at the moment, then something like Substack or a third-party platform can be another really good option too. A big part in long-term success in online business is having the right community and the right information. It's a never-ending journey of learning and growth, so you need the right community around you. To stay on top of the latest opportunities to make money online and find the best marketing resources to make them profitable, check out the Modern Freedom community. To sign up and check it out, you can find the link below. Thanks for watching.